Oh goodness. This week I'm pretty much flying solo. My parents are gone on vacation, my brother's gone on vacation, my boss has gone on vacation, my grandparents, who are amazing, are gone on vacation, and my whole support system is gone. And you know, my girlfriend, who is the whole point of this video, Miss Christy Casey, who is an amazing person. She is the love of my life. As corny and cliche as that sounds, we've had quite the romantic comedy. If I was going to fall in love, it had to be an amazing story. And no offense to people who met on the internet or eHarmony, but I just didn't want that to be my story. I met on eHarmony. No thank you. So our story, I think, is pretty captivating. Now, I'm usually surrounded by people, but this week I'm not, which might have something to do with me talking to myself into this camera. When you're house sitting for the McGills, you have to wake up early and feed the chickens. You have to feed the other animals who are just kind of adopted. They just show up. We have kittens now. There's a dog to feed. You have to go down to the garden and see if anything's grown before you leave, because it's so hot the sun will pretty much eat up the squash and whatever else is down there. And then that's all before I drive to work. And you know, at the office I edit and I write for the Gwinnett Business Journal. I think the best publication on the face of the planet, and if you don't think so, then you soon will. I also write and produce video content for clients and internally. We just won a few awards for a web TV show we write and produce, and heck, they're going to pay me to write and produce videos, TV shows, films. I mean, really, I should pay them, because it's ridiculous how much fun that I get to have. Although it can get stressful, but that's beside the point. In Gwinnett County, you basically have all of the traffic that LA offers and none of the movies. You gotta pretty much make the rounds. You gotta make the rounds after work. Go by the grandparents, make sure everything's cool over there, because they're, you know, on vacation. I grew up here basically. There are many days I spent here. When I was little, I'd climb this apple tree, work in the wood shop. We'd play hide and seek and stuff like that out here. I even shot my first feature-length movie here. It wasn't like a feature film. It was just feature length. It was like basically 2 hours of shooting horrible action scenes in every place I knew back in 1996 and 1997, I think, while I was in high school, pretty much. It was pretty embarrassing to actually watch today.
Now you can see the world through the eyes of a spy.
I know those boys are up to something. I know they're up to no good.
As I'm driving, I'm waiting on a very important phone call back. I called Christy's dad to see if he wanted to have dinner sometime this week. He said he would call me back before I got a chance to actually ask him, so we'll see what happens with that. So this is my future home with Christy. She actually built this house herself. She's quite the carpenter. And, you know, together we make the perfect couple. What makes the perfect couple, I think, is that both of us are completely content and happy with our lives. There's not a lot more that we really want, but at the same time, we're very ambitious. So we are go-getters, as you can see, from a girl who built a house by herself, and who is one of Gwinnett County's finest educators, who's very well educated herself. I'd say we're both really ambitious people. So, you know, while I was busy working for the church, and then later, you know, getting into the entertainment industry and working my life away, she was, you know, building the foundations on, you know, things that you need in a life, and so we fit together really well, and it's a very, very cool thing. I'm humbled to be in the presence daily of such a beautiful and fabulous person. This is Sweetwater Bar and Grill. This is actually where we didn't meet the first time. We actually met the first time at my parents' house. So when we finally did run back into each other, we'd already met, and it was here at Sweetwater Bar and Grill. I'd come in to do some video for my brother, who drums for Levi Lowry in the Community House Band, and she had actually been in the crowd to see them play. She came to see them, so she was looking good that night. She had this whole Tia Leone, Charlize Theron thing happening for her. I thought she was pretty fine, so got her number, or internet stalked her or something. I don't remember, but you know, asked her out, and my confidence was pretty high. You know, I just gotten off the film, which would had like $1 million budget at the time. I just bought a convertible. I was on the cover of the local paper. Like, I was feeling pretty confident, you know, which is not typical for me. And then so asked her out, and she turned me down. She kept telling me that she was busy, and so I think I sent her an email, called her out on this whole busy thing, and moved along with my life. That was 2007. So 3 years, 3 feature films later, Christy comes back into the picture, and I know I've talked a lot about myself through this, and basically I can just sum that up by saying I was a workaholic. You know, work was my passion, filmmaking was my passion. I had made 3 feature films in 3 years, producing wise, and more really, because we had others that didn't even come out or weren't completed for other things, but we worked our butts off. And at this time, I had just gotten done spending the last 10 months editing a feature documentary, An Inconvenient Tax, with a bunch of other dudes in an editing suite. My hair was like down to here. I looked like a stinking caveman, and heard that Christy was looking to meet more people in Grayson, and I was going to a small group in Grayson, so I asked her to come. And she said that she would, and I was really excited about it, and I really should have got a haircut before I got there, because she saw me, and immediately on her face, one of the great things about her is that I can at least tell what she's thinking by just her expression, and what she was thinking was, what happened to you? And then I figured, it's okay, I'll get a chance to, you know, we'll talk, because we hadn't ever really talked, you know, in person, and had a good moment, and this was a good spiritual environment, and that was going to be important in any relationship that I was going to be in, so I thought this was going to be a really cool moment. Well, the small group decides that instead of going into Bible study, they were going to go bowling, and I didn't want to go bowling. Christy didn't want to go bowling. She was going later in the week, so she literally went her separate way, and I went home, I mean, I remember calling, I went back to work, I remember calling Vincent and saying, you know, this just went horrible. And I think I'm just going to work my life away and get ready to move to LA after this film's done. And that was the plan, you know. I was going to move to Hollywood because I was done with Georgia and I was done with dating. They say that love finds you when you're not even looking for it. And all I have to say is that some cliches are absolutely true. I was ready to move to LA. I went out on a trip to visit my buddy Jer. He told me that I should only move there if it was God's plan. So against everything I thought I wanted, I started to seek a word from God on the matter. While in LA, I met with another screenwriter friend who was in my MFA program, Nick, and told him how life was slowing down and that I was thinking about moving out. He told me I was in the scene where I was about to meet the girl. I thought he was dead wrong. When I got back, I was bored. I'd drive down to Florida every few weeks and work on the movie. I was screenwriting for my MFA, so I had a lot to do. But other than that, I just watched every season of Entourage, 1 through 6, which was just ludicrous. And I really had nothing to do. So I started thinking about what Nick had said in LA. And maybe it was time to put myself out there, try to meet a girl. So anyway, one night on Facebook, unrelated, because I would never, ever use Facebook to meet women. But I got an instant messenger, which I didn't know that you could even get instant messages on Facebook. But one popped up. There was a girl there that I had met in a small group situation at a church. We started talking. It seemed okay because I was typing. And so we decided that we would go out one night. That was a mistake. So I'm driving to this date, and I call the girl and ask her where she wants to have dinner, and she informs me that she doesn't want to have dinner because she's been drinking all afternoon, and she would like me to come to her house and pick her up later. Which points me back to a lesson that I should have learned and everyone should learn from, which is that you could not meet somebody at church and believe that means anything. Church is probably the worst place to meet someone. And your preacher might tell you different, but you know what? Your preacher, he don't really know the people in the single group. Because the single group is filled with socially awkward people and lust-filled guys, you know, masquerading around like they're nice Christian gentlemen, and they're absolutely not. That's not why they're there, you know? That's not why they're there. They're a joke. You know, I used to counsel these guys and talk to these guys, and they're pretty much just sacks of crap, if I could say it. They're just a joke. You know, that's about the lowest of lows, is that you can use God, you know, as some kind of a playing card to pick up women. And the girls, they're really not that much better, you know? They go there, and you've always got the one that's whining about being single, or you got the one that has the crush on the guy they can't really talk to, or you have the one that has dated every single dude in the small group, single group, whatever. So, I am not an advocate of these single groups. The single Christians that I know don't join those groups. You know, they go out and they do something with their lives that are productive and that help people, and has absolutely very, very little to do with socially fitting in so you guys can all feel good about it when you go to Steak and Shake. So I came here before that date to this Mexican restaurant to have a bite to eat and meet up with my mom, who was meeting up with some teacher friends. And found out from Lyric, one of our mutual friends, that I'd missed Christy by about 5 minutes. She was telling me, because I had told Lyric that I might be going out with a legally insane person that night, and Christy was also had a date, and Lyric told me about it. So when I left from the restaurant, I texted Christy and wished her good luck on her date, and that I had a date that had all the makings to be a pretty stupid night. So she immediately texted me back, asked if we wanted to hang out sometime, and then I went on the worst date of my entire life. So the date that I was on went south, and then it started digging a hole from there. And once I'd reached the Earth's core, I decided that the date needed to end early. So I took her home, and then went home and cried, and never wanted to date again. And the next morning I was just depressed, because here I was, hadn't gone on a date in probably about 2 years, something like that, I don't know. It was a while. And that one was really, really bad, so I just said, you know what, screw this, I'm not going to date anymore. And then about that time, Christy text messaged me and asked me how it went. So I started writing her a novel on my phone and realized that was pretty ridiculous. Why don't I just call her? And I did, and I called her, and we had a conversation. And I pretty much said that I am going to Little 5 Points tonight to watch my brother play a show. I didn't get to watch him play a show the night before because I had left early. And so she said that she would go. So the date in Little 5 Points went great. It was amazing. The band was fabulous. A lot of my friends were there, and me and Christy clicked. We matched. We fit. It was unbelievable. It was magical. I found out she liked sushi, and my next move was pretty much to see if we could go out for sushi. And she was either playing hard to get, or she just really was hard to get. Something was up, and we couldn't go out. And eventually she ended up here at the 4th annual Pirate Party. We had a great time listening to bands, talking, dreaming, and then she finally accepted to go out and hang out and have some sushi and get to know each other better. And that was pretty much the start of things. So I'm sitting in the car outside of Frontera, about to meet with Christy's dad, and we're gonna have some Mexican food and a nice little chit chat about some things. This is definitely the only conversation I'll ever have quite like this, so should be kind of interesting. Surprisingly, though, I'd always thought that I would be more nervous, but there's really no reason to be nervous. I mean, when you're absolutely positively sure of something, there's really no thing about it. So we just got done at Frontera and got Christy's dad's blessing. So that's pretty cool. I've never asked for someone's hand in marriage before, obviously. And so now I have permission. Ooh, what's Nathan gonna do? I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I don't typically cook, but Christy's coming home from Columbus, so I figured I would prepare a romantic meal. We started dating, I guess, in August, but officially we started dating in September. That's when we had our first kiss. And then in October, I told her that I loved her. And then about April, we started courting, which was taking dating to the next level. We were dating with the intent of marriage. So we took the time to kind of look at what God says about marriage. We took the time to kind of really get intentional, making, you know, like what would you want in a marriage, and that kind of thing, which was really cool. And we went through that all the way up until now. And so tonight I will propose, and that's you only do this once. So let's hope she says yes. Okay, Christy's here, and now I'm starting to get nervous. I was fine. I was completely fine until she got here, and then she just was looking amazingly beautiful. And I stink at cooking. I mean, I think I did okay with the fettuccine Alfredo. I think I did okay with the bread, but you know, I'm just not a cook. I've got to prepare the scallops. Christy, I think, is coming in. She's probably wondering what's going on. There goes Tilly. Here comes Christy. And there she is, right there. And I guess I'll just keep it running because I totally got caught. So, I'm filming a cooking show. It's a cooking show. You're beautiful. Miss Christy Casey, will you